going on, Mina? It's 5:59. Let's give some time for the people to join. She be too blessed to be stressed. Hello, how you doing? Just my volume real quick. It's 5:59. We're gonna give about maybe 6:02 to get going. Get some people to join. We got some serious topics to be talking about today, and I'm pretty sure a lot of truckers want to know. Entrepreneurs themselves, they want to know what is going on, what's happening in trucking. So we have a lot of good news for you guys today. So thank you for joining. We should be starting in about 2 minutes. Jersey, what's going on, man? How you feeling, man? Bree, Share, what's going on, man? I see you doing your thing, man. Keep doing your thing as well, man. I see you keep pushing, keep grinding. Keep doing your thing. Well, guys, we should be starting in about 2 minutes. One more minute, actually, 6:01. Gonna make this very quick today, but definitely a lot of good insights, for truck drivers, owner operators, some fleet owners, definitely, or anyone that's interested in eventually owning fleet somehow in the future. So definitely this is the place where you can come and get the most up-to-date information in trucking that you need and how to make the best decision to run your fleet efficiently. One more minute to go, guys. Ambitious Driver, how you doing, man? Pleasure to join, man. All right, guys, getting ready to get going. Six oh two. So let's get it going. By the way, thank you, everyone. Welcome to Trucking Weekly with me, Pierre, founder and CEO of Fleeting. Really want to say thank you for everyone for taking the time to join our community, to get news, get up-to-date information on what's going on in trucking. If you're a fleet owner, if you're an owner operator, or if you're a driver or a future fleet owner, this is where you come in and get the most up-to-date news on how to navigate what's going on in transportation today. So with Trucking Weekly, most topic we're going to talk about today is are brokers and shippers taking advantage of truck drivers during this crisis? And we definitely have a lot to talk about. And we're going to get straight to the facts, and we're going to get straight into the details, exactly what's going on. So yes. So the question that we all have in mind is, are brokers and shippers taking advantage of truck drivers, owner operators in this pandemic? So for us, we will say we can agree to disagree, right? So we'll say yes somehow, but no. And we're going to give you exactly why we agree and why we disagree in certain parts. So the facts that we all need to know, giving you some facts now, according to the CEO of Landstar, Jim Gattinotti, and what he said pretty much is freight volume has been down 20 to 30% month over month since April. And what does that mean is that, the freight volume been down, trucking companies are really feeling the pinch, brokers are feeling the pinch. And what they're saying is right now, it is not a broker's market, it's a shipper's market. The shippers are controlling more of the freight, as they always do, but right about now, they're pretty much, it's their market. They're the one that's offering rates that aren't making any economical sense for some drivers or some companies. So also brokers are feeling that pinch as well. So this is why we say we somewhat agree and not all the way agree, because we do understand there are some brokers that are doing some honest work, and you do have some bad players in the game as well. And let's not forget about those bad brokers that's posting the same load on 7-10 different load boards, creating these kind of like dummy accounts to get drivers to come in. So we all understand that there is bad actors in both sides of the spectrum. But definitely, those are the biggest issues that we're talking about. So once we talk about the freight market and understand how everything has impacted the entire industry, also the shippers feel the pinch as well, because volume is not as much as it used to be. Consumers aren't consuming as much as they used to be. And also the spike that we saw in the first quarter had a lot to do with COVID-19. And I'm pretty sure a lot of companies thought that was going to be a wave that we can ride all year long. But unfortunately, that well is also drying up as well. And this is how now a lot of companies are really starting to see the pinch. And that's really starting affecting a lot of truck drivers. But however, there is hope. There's a lot of great things that we can do about it. It's just not to say, hey, look, this is the end of the world. This has always been trucking, right? It's times where it's always either a truckers market, truckers and carriers market. Like, for example, 2017 through 2019, it was pretty much a carriers market. Rates was through the roof. Brokers couldn't really control much. Shippers couldn't really control much. But now it's got kind of pretty much the tides have turned. But it's just very unfortunate that, yes, there is some bad actors taking advantage of some truck drivers through this crisis. But however, let's be for real. Let's be real with everything that's happening. Also, COVID-19 have a lot to do with the freight market the way it is right now. But there's good news. What are those? What is it that we can do to make things better? So, I mean, obviously, there's a lot of things that's going to be happening that's going to turn the market around. So pretty much we looking forward for these businesses to go back online, manufacturing companies to start open their business, industrial companies to start, going back online and running their operation. But also, there's a lot of things that I believe that us truck drivers, owner operators, and fleet owners that we have to do ourselves to make sure that we stay in the game. It is a very unfortunate market right about now. Truck drivers are getting rates that are very, very low. I mean, rates that, drivers would typically do in any market. And that's affecting the entire industry. So the things that we can do, number one, is truck drivers have to be very, very conscious of the loads that they're expecting. I mean, that they're accepting from shippers right now. Shippers, pretty much the loads that they're giving. The spot market is not the only way to go and build your business. And just getting, just to run your business on the idea of just getting the spot loads from the shippers is affecting a lot of truckers now. And also, shippers also know what's happening, and they are kind of tight on the freight as well. So when a truck driver don't understand his unit economics, and that's something that I'm going to get into on the things that we can do to make our operation better, to be a little bit more leaner on cash, on how we keep our fleet running, is that too often truck drivers don't understand unit economics. And what that does is sometimes truck drivers just accepting freight at any rate and not understanding exactly how does the entire process work. So if you're a driver that understands unit economics and you understand what every time you're taking a load, you understand the importance of taking out your gas, your tow, your maintenance on the truck, insurance costs on the truck, and also to pay yourself on that run. A lot of times drivers don't understand these numbers, and what happens is we end up just accepting anything, and that actually mess up the market as well. So one thing drivers can do is, I'm not going to tell anyone how to run their business, but let's be smart about this, is that, let's be careful, let's be mindful about the freight that we're accepting right now. If the loads are very cheap and it doesn't make sense for your operation, do not just accept it just on the sake of accepting it, because what that does, that creates a domino effect. That creates a snowball effect where one driver accepts a low rate at $300 that typically go for $1,000. What happens is now other drivers start taking that rate, and the other drivers that understand the market, that understand what is the right rate for that load, those drivers are starting to get affected by what's happening. So, and that creates a snowball effect where it affects everyone in the space. So I think it's very important that truck drivers understand their unit economics, especially in this pandemic when we're moving loads, to understand, does this load make sense for my truck? Does this load make sense for my operation? And too often truck drivers don't, owner operators, we don't treat our business like a real business as we should. We kind of just treat it as a piggy bank account, just a truck that we just running, and we just get money from it out of every week. And I think that is one of the biggest bottlenecks that trucking owner operators are facing today, is understanding truly their unit economics. How do they take a load? How do you accept a load and understand that you're getting the right rate for that load, and you actually taking into account all the expenses that you have to kind of take to run that load. So we want drivers to truly understand that, because that's very important, because the drivers that don't understand that concept really kind of create that snowball effect that affect a lot of truck drivers as well. So that means there is also a lot of hope coming in, right? Because the market will open up soon, which is just starting to open up right now. There is some freight moving as far as on the drayage, not as much as we expecting, but we're starting to see some activities there. So there is room for improvement. There's room for people to make money in the space. There's room for owner operators. But I'm going to keep stressing on the part that truckers, you have to understand the importance of understanding that unit economics. Unit economics mean understanding that truck. Every time that truck is doing a load, you have to understand all the expenditures that come with that load, how much you paying yourself, and also how much you paying that truck. And I think the more drivers start to understand that, the more they have a more grip on understanding their business. And also, number two, things that we can do. Truckers, please, I'm letting you know, please, you are the owner operator, right? We have this, people have this kind of misconception about truckers, is that, you guys just drive trucks, or we just drive trucks and we don't know nothing but just sitting behind the wheel of a truck and just drive. And I just want to put that out there, that us truckers do way much more than just driving, right? You are pretty much a customer rep. You're the one speaking with the shipper. You're the one delivering the goods. You're the one signing the bill of lading. You're the one that's doing the last transaction with whoever the consignee or the shipper is. You're the one that's doing that. So I want owner operators to truly understand the importance of building those relationships with their shipper partners, because the spot market, it is not the way to go ahead and build a sustainable business. However, yes, it is good to also have assets available sometimes to take opportunity of the spot market, but you do not want to build a business solely on spot market. So I say this to say to the truck drivers, it is your business. It is your operation. Treat your truck like a real business. Treat yourself like a real business. So when you're in front of that shipper, when you're talking to that shipper, this is how you start building direct to shipper relationship and start getting contract loads as opposed to moving spot loads. And that can really turn the tides around big time if drivers truly take that approach and understanding that you are the master of your fate. Like, you are the operator of your business. You are the face of your company. Yes, you are driving that truck, but you are the representative between that shipper and that consumer and that receiver. So guess what? It is your duty to bring that relationship. It is your duty to make those relationships work, because when you don't take the time to build those relationships, guess what happened? This is where we allow middleman to come and build a relationship for us. And this is what brokers do. Once again, brokers, I understand the value that they bring into the space, but we're talking about the brokers that come into the space that's actually being bad actors. So we want drivers to understand the importance of building direct relationship with shippers so they can take more contract loads as opposed to just moving spot loads, because there's no guarantee there and there's no way you can build a sustainable business just going after spot loads. And I'm pretty sure everyone probably going to have some questions around later. What is the difference between spot and contract loads? I can get to that later on after we finish going through everything that drivers need to do to keep their operations running. So give me 1 second here, guys. Yep. So back to the driver pretty much effect again with what's happening. So as we mentioned is that, we don't totally agree with that, it's just the shippers taking advantage of the motor carriers, or the drivers, or just the brokers taking advantage. Yes, there is those bad actors, but there is also the industry as well that's being impacted by COVID-19 that's actually causing all these problems in the space. So what truck drivers can do as things starting to get a lot better, truckers, number one, you need to put yourself in a position to go after the right freight, the right market, the right commodity. You will understand starting to understand your business as an operator, what works for you. I don't know if you're in flatbed, if you're in refrigerated, if you're hauling dry van, if you're hauling oversized loads, whatever it is that you, the sector that you're in. Yes, it is your duty to truly understand those markets and truly understand who are moving those goods, at what volume they're moving them, and what state across the country they have the most volume, and start building those relationships. So this is the reason why fleeting exists. as we are a platform that connect truck drivers to motor carriers. But we also understand these are the things that are hurting a lot of owner operators, that are hurting a lot of small trucking companies. And we also understand that truck drivers or owner operators, they usually have a ceiling cap of owning one truck, right? And that's always a truck driver's dream of becoming an owner operator. Every truck driver get a CDL that drive for 2-3 years and wants to become an owner operator. And I am a big advocate for it. I empower truck drivers to become owner operators. However, I do warn against truck drivers that get a CDL in 6 months and then feel like, hey, look, I'm ready to become an owner operator. I would say, hey, look, get some skin in the game, understand exactly the process, understand the language, understand the difference between the brokers and the shippers, and understand how you build those relationships and how do you use both of them sometimes, you understand, to bring the best return for your business. So I would say, yes, I understand truck drivers, you do want to become entrepreneurs, and I do empower you guys to think more like entrepreneurs, especially the one that already own one truck. The question is, how do you become more financial efficient to own 2 or 3 more trucks, right? Because there's going to be a lot of opportunities in trucking. For all those companies that have went out of business because of COVID-19, that means the trucking space have lost so many capacity. So that means there's going to be work. There's going to be freight volume that's going to need to be moved. And the industry is dependent on entrepreneurs like yourself, the owner operators like you guys, the small, mid-sized trucking companies, to bring back our economy. So I think this is a huge opportunity for everyone to truly get to understand the freight market, how it works, understand trucking, how it works, and where those opportunities are at. Whether you're a truck driver, whether you're a fleet owner, we want to bring you the right source, the right information to help you make those best decisions. And just one real quick, let me drop something here. We actually also launching a community as part of our platform that's welcome to all types of truckers, whether you're an owner operator, whether you're a company driver, whether you kind of want to be an independent driver and work on your term. Our community allows drivers to actually come together as well and mobilize. And that's one of those things that we seen, all the pain point that truck drivers are having is pretty much truckers don't have a community of themselves where they can communicate, where they could actually understand, truly see transparency, what's going on in the freight market. So we want to be the company that bring that community together, bring truck drivers together, bring you guys the right information, help you make the best decision to run your fleet, and also help you make the best decision how to become the best entrepreneur in trucking and own 5-6 truck without, driving none of them, and earn some generous income. So there's a lot of opportunities here in trucking, but definitely don't want to take too much of your time. I know it's about 6:16. We're going to open it up for another 10 more minutes. If you guys have any questions, if anything you feel like I should go and talk about a little bit more, get a little bit more understanding of the freight market, which is, the difference between a broker and a shipper, the difference between a spot market and contract loads, and the difference is, you understand why now is a shipper's market and before it was a motor carrier's market. If you guys have any question on that, we're going to open the line for the next 10 minutes. So just go ahead. We open up for questions. And like I said, every Sunday we'll be doing Trucking Weekly to give you guys update on what's going on in the space, who's being affected in this space, where the opportunities are at, and how you yourself can be best suited to take advantage of the opportunities transportation logistics has to offer. And I believe that those opportunities are not just for some truck drivers that decide to be owner operators. They're not just for corporations. I think there's an opportunity for everyone. Every common man can become an entrepreneur in trucking, and Fleeting is here to do that. We'll open up the community to regular individuals that want to become entrepreneurs. That will be open to you guys as well. But stay tuned. We definitely open up the platform. We will let you guys know when it's okay to download the mobile app and be part of that community where we can start mobilizing drivers and creating a lot of content, information that's very important for you guys to make your decision on a day-to-day basis as you run in your operation. So go ahead, guys. Definitely, I'm here. We want to open up the line for some questions. Let me see with the first questions what we got here. Sorry, guys. I'm just going through the questions. Griffin, man, thank you. I appreciate it. Sincere V, how you doing, brother? Somebody asked, do you offer spring event loads as well? So pretty much, that's a good question. People, if you've seen that question, what he's asking for, he's operating a sprint event. So this is much more like LTL loads. He's not doing a full truckload. He's somebody that operates a van. He might be a owner operator that's running his own business. This is just to show you the opportunity people are seeing and becoming entrepreneurs in this space. He's running his freight probably on a van. The answer for you, ambitious driver, for now, as of right now, unfortunately, no, we do not run loads for any vans as at this moment. Our main focus is box truck, CDLB, and Class A 18-wheelers, truckload, full truckload. But however, as we're building our network, we do have some shippers in the network that come in now and then that ask, can we provide LTL shipment? Maybe definitely offline, we need to connect, and you could be part of our community. And when our shippers also have LTL loads that they need to move, especially, in this market, you'll definitely be able to reap the benefit of being part of the community, and you can get the direct access to the shipper as well. Somebody said, are we seeing more activities at the ports? The ports, there are some minimal activities at the ports, but I wouldn't say exactly normal activities as it should. We do have some customers, some trucking companies that do a lot of port run, and they're saying that their activity is still running. They're still moving containers in and out of the port every day, but not as much as they're expected to be. But they're also seeing that things are getting ready to open up. They're also very excited and very optimistic about the backlog of freight. So the drayage sector is going to be another use sector as well. And we want to make sure also get everyone in position to capitalize of the drayage market that's getting ready to open up. Somebody say, another question, can you walk us through how to get authority in the DOT number? That's a good question, right? So a lot of people are coming on and asking, how do we get these things? How do we get a DOT number? How do we get an MC number? How do we get an insurance? How do we get a truck? The idea of the fleet entrepreneur part, guys, is we don't want you to go out there and go crazy and trying to find how to build how to get a DOT number, how to get an authority number, how to even, find the right truck, find the right financing. Fleeting actually making sure that we connect all those parties with you guys to make sure that you guys make the best decision. So to answer that question, as of right now, we are working with a partner. I'm not going to make an announcement right now as of yet, but that's going to actually help us facilitate that entire process, where an entrepreneur don't have to worry about the permits that they have to get, the licenses that they have to get, the DOT and the MC regulatory information that they have to worry about. Our process actually automate that entire journey and give you the peace of mind to just start becoming an entrepreneur a lot more easier. So thank you for asking that question. But we're making that a lot more easier and bring that process to a digital platform that's going to bring that process a lot more efficient. Any questions, guys? It's 6:22. Could leave it up for another 2 more minutes. If anyone have any other questions, any other concern, just kind of let me just go back between spot market and contract rate, right? What is the difference between those two? So contract market is when a shipper is moving a certain good, certain commodities. And let me give you guys some examples just to understand it a lot more clearer, right? I was told whenever you speak it to an audience and they don't understand something, you want to break it down to the 3rd grade level. So hopefully I'm going to do the best job I can and explaining to you what is the difference between market rate loads and also on a spot market. So what it is when a shipper is shipping a commodity, let's just say, for example, Poland Spring, for example, is shipping a lot of water across the country. And what happens is Poland Spring knows certain lanes, certain region of the country, there's a volume of constant orders that comes in that they have to ship those waters regardless what. All year long, they know there's a certain amount of orders that they have to process for this region. So Poland Spring knows that. So what that does is Poland Spring now get a contract between a motor carrier or a shipper that has access to motor carriers and create a contract on that lane. Because they know every year, every day in out, they're moving a certain amount of loads to that lane. So they're confident that that volume is consistent. So that means when Poland Spring give that loads to that motor carrier or he gives it to that broker, that becomes a contract lane. That means it's guaranteed shipment that's moving to that lane every day. Now, how the spot loads come into the play is as they're running that lane, they know the volume of every load that goes in every days and days out. Sometimes you have some unexpected orders that comes in, right? You might have some volume and expected orders in a certain region, not to the same amount of capacity usually expected. So you have special orders keep coming up that needs to be delivered that was not part of the contract lanes that you were moving, although it's in the same lane, but those orders was not accounted for the amount of loads that you have. So those loads become spot loads. Those loads become the load that the shipper needs to find a motor carrier or owner operator to move right away. So that's what you call the spot load. That means that's the load that comes up and the shipper needs somebody to move it right away. And those are the loads a lot of owner operators are banking on. Those are the loads a lot of companies are banking on to run their operation, and which is sadly to say, guys, that's suicidal. You don't want to just run your business just on spot loads because you know a broker that's giving you good loads. You need to understand supply chain. You understand your customer dynamic. You understand your customer's journey. Understand what it is that works for them and what don't work for them, and how you build the best relationship with that shipper to now find yourself in a position to build a sustainable, successful company. But running your trucking company just solely based on brokers, it is, sorry to say, guys, yes, you may have some good runs. You understand? It's going to be a zigzag you're going to be running. You're going to have some good run this month, some bad run this month. You'll never truly have a sustainable business. And, you know, I think it's very important that truckers understand how crucial it is, how, you guys don't understand. Just as much as important it is to take care of that truck, that unit, it's very important to understand what it takes to build that shipper relationship, to build that network, because your truck your truck is counting on it, your family is counting on it, and you are counting on it. So guess what? It is your duty, and Fleeting is here to show you guys how do you build the best relationship, how do we maintain the best relationship across shippers, and how do we create an ecosystem of truck drivers that want to add values into the space. And what I'm talking about real truckers that's reliable, that's dependable, that's actually been part of this process, being hurt in the process, and I want to create a more positive community of truckers. Fleeting welcomes you. You want to learn how to build a fleet. You want to learn how to become an owner operator. Fleeting welcomes you. But also our job is to make sure that, you know, we tell you like it is. When there's a bad players in the game, you're gonna know it. When there's a good players in the game, we want to make sure that we show that as well. And we want to be a partner. We want to be your supporter. We understand exactly what you do for this industry. We understand how you've been missing out. Pretty much everyone kind of look at a truck driver just like, you know, like he's a commodity, like he doesn't exist, like he doesn't have a family. And Fleeting's mission is here to change that narrative, to make truckers feel like human beings again, to make them feel like they belong to something, belongs to a community that can truly educate them on how to efficiently run their business, on how to truly understand their business pain point, and how they can become the best entrepreneurs in that space. And I think with that, we'll be able to create so many jobs, so many opportunities in trucking. So we can't wait for you guys to keep joining this community. We're constantly growing. So we appreciate you guys for spending the time with us on this Sunday. Don't want to keep blabbing, taking your time. Truckers, entrepreneurs, mid-size, small-size trucking companies, we understand the pain. We understand everything that you guys are going through. Please help us come together and build a better ecosystem of future truckers, of future entrepreneurs, and future business people in trucking. The opportunity is there. Let's make it happen together. Once again, thank you. With Trucking Weekly, yours truly, Pierre Laguerre, founder and CEO of Fleeting. Thank you guys for spending the time with me. We'll see you again next Sunday with more news, with more juice to bring to this space. Thank you again. Have a good day.